is the Real Relate Podcast. We want to put you guys on with our second guest here, Jerod Magazine, with the Normal Guy Lazy Eye podcast. My name is Brandon, the moderator for today. We got Jose, our founder. He's going to be the main guy here asking the questions. I'll just keep everything on the rails. And then we got Jerod. Jerod, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, guys. Hey, first of all, thank you so much for having me. My name is Jerod Magazine. I'm 23, originally from Orange County, California, now out in Boston, Massachusetts, and I am the host of the Normal Guy Lazy Eye podcast. That's about it. that's me, man.
Hey,
cheers to that.
Cheers to that, man. I love that. You know, you come in. That's all I am. That's
it. I'm just the normal guy, dude. That's like, it's literally every single episode. I'm just the normal guy. That my guest is always the much cooler person with the way better story, and that's why they're on the podcast.
That's how I feel too. That's why you're here. But I'm saying, like, that's crazy to me because, like, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm the underdog, and I go and I'm just a fan. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all this is really is just me sitting down in my room, listening to people talk and talking to them. That's really all it is,
dude. I know we're gonna get into it, but that's exactly what it is. I'm like, at the end of the day, my podcast just hit over 5,200 streams this weekend. But like the numbers are what they are, and like, sure, they can be much bigger. Like, I'm not the next Joe Rogan by any stretch of the imagination, but at the end of the day, what it is I get to have these really great conversations with really cool people that in another world, probably pre-COVID, I would have never been able to have, because it's so easy to have conversations like this right now that we're having on Zoom, and just being able to talk and just being able to connect. Like, yeah, we'd love to be doing this in person, but at the end of the day, we're still making this kind of connection and still having this great conversation.
Yeah, because I feel like with people like me and you, it's really a thing where, like, we're so used to talking with people and, like, entertaining people and, like, saying what's up to people. You know, obviously I've seen you around, stuff like that in the office.
Yeah.
And it's just how that's how we are. So, and, you know, obviously with, like, concerts and everything being down because of COVID, this is, like, kind of a way for entertainers and people that like to be out there. This is their opportunity to still be engaged with their audience, still be engaged with their friends and their families and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that's just a way for us to kind of, like, put ourselves out there and be honest and open. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm just sitting here having a conversation with you and just talking because I'm a loner right here. I just want friends. That's all I want.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. I just want some Instagram followers. No.
That's all it is, man. That's all it is. Hey, but at the end of the day, though, dude, like, it's not about, like, you being the next Joe Rogan, man, because we don't want that. We want the next Jerod. Like, that's what,
yeah.
We want something new. We want something new. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't want the next up and coming. No, we want, like, we want you and your story. I think that's what's incredible about it. You know what I mean?
That's what you're gonna get on today's podcast, man.
That's
my story, bro.
That's what. So, Barbara, kick us off, Barbara. Barbara likes to ask this great introductory question. So go ahead, Barbara. Ask us.
All right, let's do it.
So we like starting off with very open-ended question. Who are you today?
Wow, that is a very open-ended question. Who I am today? Well, I mean, I feel like I'd be remiss without mentioning our great alma mater, Providence College. So I am a recent Providence College grad, living now in the greater Boston area, originally from Orange County, California. I don't want to repeat myself, but I feel like you got to start with your roots, right? But I am a tech salesman by trade and by occupation. And on the side, I am a podcast host. And I think that's really important, is you do have to realize that what your occupation does come first, because at the end of the day, my podcast does not pay my bills. But I feel like during this past year and a half, call it, there's been such a great opportunity for people to follow passion projects or find that thing that has, you know, something other to do other than work. I mean, we're not commuting 45 minutes to an hour, you know, both ways. So that gives us a couple more hours, and feeling from home, you can do a couple more things now. So at the end of I'm a podcast host, but I'm a great salesman too. So that's who I am for sure.
Damn.
Awesome,
that was nice.
Dude.
That was
great. Jerod, question. Are you a SDR?
I am an account executive at Tech Target. We can plug them here. The great company that Jose and I both work at. And it's been an awesome almost 2 years. I was an SDR for a little bit. Fun grind for sure, and account executive is a whole different world too, for sure.
No, have some respect.
I'm just gonna have to respectfully disagree. I was an SDR at Toast for like, a few months, 7-8 months, and it was a grind.
Yes,
definitely took a toll on my mental health, I would say.
Yes,
I tried doing enterprise SDR work at another company called Datadog, and it was also very hard. And now I'm in customer success, and I'm way happier.
I agree with you 100%. I think it takes a specific kind of insanity to love an SDR role. And love any sort of sales role. I think I've talked to a couple sales guys, like you have to be unhinged basically to love what you're doing. And I think I don't know if it's because of my athletic background and being a college athlete that made me get into sales so heavy and like love it so much, because I just love that competition. Like to me, like this sounds so stupid, but to me there's nothing better than getting a signed contract. Like I'm like heck yeah, you know what I mean? And so like when I was an SDR was like I was when I got my first meeting, I was like jumping for joy, and like I would look like such a noob in the office, but like for me it was like whatever, next win, like, let's go. But yeah, like I have so much respect for SDRs, and I have so much respect for customer success too, because you know why? Because customer success is the ones that have to put up with all the stuff that the sales said to them pre-sale that wasn't true post-sale.
Exactly, dude. You don't
It's
know
like,
how many providers I got to deal with that were like, oh, well, they said I can have this, and that. And I'm like, well, we could do this and this, but not that.
Yeah, right. We can't give you the Tesla, but yeah.
Nah, that's fucked up, man. I'm on customer success, so that's what I have to fucking deal with. Is all the hate, like, yo, I'll be dealing with customer success people. These goddamn salespeople, all they do is lie. They just lie, and they just tell them what they want to hear because they can get the sale through the door. Which, I mean, hey, it's a business, man. But like,
y'all making me look real scummy right now. I tell you what, I feel like I'm getting double teamed against two customer success people.
No, it's okay. I was in sales. So it was a product development.
Yeah.
So, I get it. I mean, I was like, yo, this is Jerod Magazine, man. He's not an SDR. He's an account executive. Come on, have some respect for him right now. You know what I mean?
Hey, but mad respect to SDRs. I mean,
but mad respect to SDRs, man. Mad respect. You know what I mean? But you know what time it is.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah. So I mean, the who you are question can be taken, a million ways. I love hearing about like who answers it and how they answer. I think it's very important as well. So just give us a little, as much as Real Relate is getting to know you and who you are as a person, and what you're doing now. We'll get into that. But give us a little background, like where you come from, what's going on. Give us some, because I know you moved from California or you're in Massachusetts and went to school in Providence. Like that's a lot of jumps. So give us a little background to that.
Yeah. So all right. So I was born in Palm Springs, California, which is like everyone's like, if you know Coachella, that's Palm Springs claim to fame. And I lived there for the first 2 years. So I didn't like grow up there. But so then I moved to Orange County, California, like 20 minutes inland of like Laguna Beach, Newport Beach area. And like I had an insanely good childhood. Like, I mean, I like just a beautiful family, a loving family, beautiful house, great school, good grades, good enough grades. But growing up, I was like a chubby kid that loved sports, and there's no worse combo than that. Cause like you have aspirations to be the next NFL player, the next Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, or whatever. And so I would do all these like team sports, and I sucked so bad. And then there was one day I was like 10 years old, and I was like, I'm destined to be in the NFL. My dad sitting across from the dinner table from me. He's like, no, you're not. Like it was just a hardcore realization. Like, no, you're not. He's like, why don't you try swimming? I've been doing it 3 times a week. Why don't you try it? I was like, all right. Like it's another sport. It's competition. I'm in. So I started swimming when I was 10, competitively. I knew how to swim, but I didn't like know the 4 strokes, any of that. So started swimming when I was 10. It's actually something that I was good at because I suck. My hand-eye coordination sucks. Like, I don't know if it has to do with the lazy eye. I don't know if it has to do with my vision, whatnot. It sucks. So swimming was like my outlet. And I'm going to fast forward 7 years from swimming. That's when I realized, okay, not only can I swim well enough, but I think I can get this to become a college athlete. I can get into better schools because of my athletics rather than, focusing so much on my grades. And now I'll preface that with like, if you want to like definitely get good grades in college, like high school, if you want to go to a great school, get good grades. But to me, it was like, like I don't want to. I'm trying not to. Yeah,
Give him the warning. Tell him, you motherfuckers better go to school, get good grades.
all
Don't tell him.
all the good kids out here listening to Real Relate. You gotta get your A's and B's. But
yo, because we got some bad motherfuckers who listen to this shit, and they're definitely gonna be like, yes, I will just be an athlete and do that.
Yes. So that's what got me like really excited about college, was like having the ability to swim in college. And my dad had two rules for my twin brother and I when we were applying to colleges. Was you couldn't go to the same school, which for my twin brother and I, Aaron, if you're listening to this, I love you, but 18 years was long enough. So I was like, that's fine with me. We won't go to the same school. And you couldn't go to a school where you can come home and do laundry on the weekends. So that part right there is what really made us go look somewhere else that wasn't California, that wasn't the UC system. I had no business getting into any UCs, but like I couldn't go to like San Diego State, Fresno State, anything like that. So I went to a Catholic high school, and I landed at Providence College because it's a small Catholic college, big name athletics, Division I swim program, Division I athletics. I was like, so it sounds like a win-win-win. And so that's what got me out to Providence, and best 4 years of my life. I know that you should never say that college was your favorite 4 years, but as of right now, I'm going to go with that, because 2019, 2020, and as of 2021 right now, I haven't had any better years. And I don't think anybody has.
But that's not what they say. They say, don't say it was the best 4 years of your life. The wording on what you said was, it was my favorite consecutive 4 years of my life.
At this point in time. At this point in time.
Because I respect that. Well, because there's a sickness outside. But like, I get that. You know what I mean? Like, it's great to say this is my favorite 4 years, and it's awesome. And I appreciate that, because we were neighbors senior year. So that means that I didn't completely ruin your experience.
Senior year, and don't forget about freshman year. We were also next door neighbors freshman year in McDermott.
Yes, that was nuts.
That was nuts. That was the craziest year of my life.
Yeah, that was crazy.
There's nothing like a freshman year in college. Like, you learn so much. Maybe not education-wise, but you learn so much about what's going to happen to you the next 10 years, we'll say.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, I remember this one time, dude. I had two roommates, and obviously, I'm very loud and I'm Spanish.
No, dude, you played the softest music.
Are you, dude? You're not loud at all.
I was so fucking loud, and the thing, here's my thing about it. You either love it or you hate it. You either love me off the bat or you hate me off the bat. Or you kind of fuck with me a little bit, and you swallow the pill. You're like, all right, this guy's not a bad guy. Like, I fuck with it, over time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, but in the days, like I tell Barbara, like I told you last night, you got to set the ground rules. Day zero, speaker in, music loud, boys on the first floor, McDermott. That's what we're getting for the rest of the year. And you're either with it or you're not. And thankfully, we were all decently or somewhat kind of with it, and we kept it going. It was fucking a lit floor. It was awesome.
It was a good floor. Good guys.
It was a great floor. I mean, I just one of the like bananas things that happened was, there was one time where I had two roommates. One name is Alex and the other one name is Ryan. And this is how bananas it got in Davis. I mean, Jesus, not Davis 603. And McDermott 106, like, I'm heating up a pizza. And in college, dude, like, I mean, you get your little fridge, you get your little frozen pizzas at like 1 o'clock in the morning, you're doing homework. Like, this is the like epitome of college, freshman year. I go in there, I'm heating up pizza up. Great, having a great old time. I'm stupid hungry because I'm obviously fat, and I love Elio's pizza. You know what I mean? So I'm heating it up real nice in the microwave in a crisp 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Maybe a minute. I'll do a minute and 30. And then my roommate, he's sitting, his desk is next to the microwave, and my back is faced toward, back towards the microwave, and he just turns back and he goes, "Hey, you mind if I get a bite of this pizza?" Opens the microwave when it's done and just takes a fat bite out of it. The next like 5 minutes was all hell on that floor, man. I went outside. I was like, "What the fuck? This is bullshit. Why the fuck are you eating my pizza?" The RA got involved and everything. It was nuts. It was just bananas, dude. But yeah, man, freshman year of college, sick time, dude. Can't fucking come.
You learn a lot. That's for sure. For sure.
Don't fuck with a big man za.
No, that's lesson number 1 in the book.
But and then he goes, it's 65 cents. It's $1 pizza slice. Why do you care? Here's the pizza. I like, then you take your motherfucking dollar and you go to the store and you buy the fucking pizza, dude. You know what I mean? Like if that's on you, you know? It's not
Yeah,
just a dollar, it's a personal thing, you know, as well too. It's just
yeah,
respect, you know what I mean? Like you don't do some shit like that.
yeah. I love it. I love
Man,
it. Yeah,
man, fucking Alex, dude. But mad respect, love you, bro, if you're listening, because I know he's gonna listen to this shit anyways.
for sure, for sure.
But anyway, whatchamacallit? So where did you come up with the name? Well, obviously I know where you came up with it, but why? How did really the steps in the backyard to like that process of the name and shit like that? What
Of
were you?
normal guy, lazy eye, right? Yeah. So that's a great story. Actually, I was texting one of our mutual friends, Jake Bamford, and shout out Jake if you're
No,
listening to
I
this.
no idea. No idea who
No
that
man,
is.
yeah. No clue who Jake Bamford is for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, he's out in New York. He's a big finance guy now, and I was, I don't know. It was obviously it was in the middle of 2020, and like I was like, I need something else to do. Like I have work, and you got to do your work, but it's like I have all this extra free time. What can I do with it? That's not just bumming around on TikTok, on Instagram, right? So I was like, I think I'm gonna start a podcast. So I was texting him. I was like, I want to start a podcast, and what should I call it? And he's like, the 100th podcast under the sun. And I was like, oh, I get what you're trying to say. Like what's going to make your podcast so special that's not like, because everyone's coming out with a podcast, whether it's like every celebrity, Michelle Obama, whatever, like, or just, I mean, even like like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are having a podcast. Why would I listen to you? And it's like, okay, touche, Jake Bamford. But I was like,
Fuck you, Jake Bamford. Yeah.
no, but it was like a real wake up call, because it was like, if you really want to do this, like you want to get listeners, what do you like? What's going to make your podcast so special? So I was like, okay, well, I'm just a normal guy. My thing is I have a lazy eye, and so, boom, that clicked. And like that's such a stupid way to like say like that's how I got the name, but I think the importance was like, what's going to make my podcast special? And what I will tell you is that name has gotten my guests to come on the show. Like when I DM a guest or I DM a possible guest, and I'm like, hi, my name is Jerod Magazine, and I host the Normal Guy Lazy Eye podcast. They're immediately like, what the heck is that podcast about? Like, okay, I'll come on, but what is this about? And it's like, oh, I'm the normal guy you're the special guest. I want to know, what's your, like, basically what's your lazy eye? What's your difference? What makes you different? And like, I know what it is, but let's have that conversation and let's teach the audience about that. So that's where we came up with the name. Like, the host is just the normal guy with the lazy eye, but the guest is the way superior storyteller and way better, like way cooler stories than I have, for sure.
Damn, that was fucking good, man.
Yeah,
Shit.
that was a sick like come up, like how you thought of that.
Yeah, man. It's like an easy name, and it's catchy too, Like, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this has got a little ring to it. We got a nice little logo with the little wandering eye. I'm like, all right, maybe we'll get some merch going.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying. Like when I remember I remember seeing it for the first time. I'm like, I love the way you describe it. Sometimes I usually sit here and I'm like thinking like, all right, how am I gonna keep this conversation going and shit like that? And then you're just going and you're just getting right after. You're so passionate about it is what I'm trying to say, and that's so inspiring as well. I remember before starting, the same thing happens with Real Relate, but the thing is a little opposite though. They're like, what the fuck is Real Relate, and
mhm,
why should I be involved in this?
right. Yeah. Well, that's what we have to get our that's how we get our listeners every day. Like, it's like, why should I click on this podcast right now? Is it because the guest and I'm a fan of the guest? Like we're recording this on the 24th of January. My last episode was with stand-up comedian Andy Haynes. Now they can either say, I like stand-up comedian Andy Haynes, I'm going to click this podcast and listen to what Andy Haynes has to say, or I like Jerod, or I like the idea of this Normal Guy Lazy Eye podcast. There's three reasons why those people click on my podcast. It's the title of the podcast, it's because they're psychopath enough to like me, or they like the guest.
That's exactly what I say, man. You're a psychopath like you or me or whatever. It is, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's crazy. So, damn, that's really interesting. I love the way you look at that. I guess another question I have for you is, since you had so much time in your hands, you say, but like you have a fast paced role, whether you went from an SDR to being an account executive. How do you really balance a fast paced life, like a fast paced like passion and job, with like your side hustle? Like, I mean, your job, your passion.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think the first thing to state with that is Tech Target, my account executive position, that's my job. That's my career. That's what pays the bills. And I will invest 100% of my effort, 110% of my effort into that.
Tell him.
Well, I want to make that. Well, I want to make that clear because well,
Disclaimer. They're all watching them like.
but no, I mean that in all seriousness, because like when you have a passion project or a side hustle, whether it's an Uber driver or it's a podcast or it's I make paintings for people, whatever it is, make sure you're paying the bills, because when you're paying the bills, that's when you can make time and have time to do what makes you happy. And my job makes me happy, that too. But like the podcast is like my escape. And that's the thing that you have to balance is pay the bills, find the escape, find what makes you happy. And so like to go back to your question of like, how do you balance it? The best advice that I got was from Becca Peasy. She's actually from Belmont, Massachusetts. She's a marathon runner. She ran 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. I've interviewed her, an unbelievable story. But if you want to do something, whether it's run 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents, or it's start a podcast, or it's start your own bakery, whatever it is, you got to find the time. Like there are hours in the day that you're wasting on your phone. I could tell you, I was watching TikTok today for probably an hour. I probably could have been doing like try and get new guests on the show, but you can find the time. Like I was sitting in Wegmans the other day at 10 o'clock, realizing I hadn't even eaten dinner yet. But it's like, I kind of like this lifestyle of like, I'm always so busy, dude. Because when I'm not busy, that's when I find myself getting lazy and doing like nothing with my life. So when you want to have like a fast paced life, if that's your thing, do it. But make sure you're allocating time to those things, the paying bills, what makes you happy, and got to make sure you eat and sleep. That's the thing too. But yeah, like it's just a balance. And when you want to do something, there is time. You got to find it.
If 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 normal guy and lazy eye is your escape, what do you need an escape for if you love your job so much?
I just think like no, that's a good question. No, that's a good question. And like I do love my job and I do love normal. I love them both equally. And I know I sound like such a little nerd saying that, but like it's like it goes back to us, right? We love talking to people. And during this pandemic, we haven't had that ability to entertain people, go out and actually like talk to people. So it's like, well, how can I keep that up? And that's connecting on Zoom with these awesome guests. That's connecting with you on this awesome podcast. That's being able to do these types of things that I probably wouldn't be doing pre-pandemic. Like I wouldn't have thought of the idea of like, I can create a podcast and have any type of guest on the show and have an hour conversation and talk about literally anything. But now that 2020 has taught us that we can do whatever we want. That's why we have the job that we love and the escape.
Exactly. There you go. That's true. I mean, that's a good thing. Like, how do you really took a positive out of a negative, from that situation, and everything in life, things that you do. I feel like when you start up a podcast, or we are a certain type of people the way we are, how do you really deal with negativity? Like, how do you always find the diamond in the rough? How do you always find the positivity in a negative situation, whether you're dealing with college, whether you're dealing with podcasting, like whether you're dealing with everything? For anyone, how do you deal with negativity?
Wow, that's a big question. I mean, let's look at 2020, right? I mean, by all stretches of the imagination, you could say 2020 was the worst year that anyone's ever had. And whether it was like you had loved ones that, had COVID and passed, or you had hardships because of COVID, job loss, what have you, can't pay the bills, stuff like that. I do think there is a light at the end of the tunnel in any situation. You do have to find it, and it is on you to find it. No one's going to find it for you because everyone else is dealing with their own stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so it boiled down for me. It was like, if I lose my job, if I lose family members, whatnot, people are going to ask you, what was your 2020 like? That year will go down in history, and our grandkids and our kids will ask us, what was your 2020 experience like? Whether they have to write a paper on us or what. Like, I want to be able to give that answer of, it was a struggle 100%, but in struggle, people find that diamond in the rough. And it was, whether it was my podcast, whether it was having incredible conversations, making incredible connections with people that I'd never met before in real life. That was the thing. So that's what drove me in 2020 to like be like, make your 2020 an incredible year, because if I did lose my job, and I didn't, but if I did, the first interview question you're going to get post pandemic is what did you do in the year that no one did anything, right? So that's what was my driver in starting this podcast and kind of having this little side hustle.
Wow, yeah, dude. I mean, that's crazy how you literally just like worded that in terms of like, okay, I wanted to make something out of nothing in such like a shitty time. And I think like, talking to Jose over the quarantine, like we had these same kind of aspirations that, you had. And, we want to do something on the side that's not our regular job, but we just have to figure it out. Okay, let's get some guys together. Let's brainstorm. Let's talk about it. And I think what it's taught me personally, in 2020 is like how to value like your personal relationships that you have more, because like like 2019, we had just graduated. We're still trying to like maintain friendships from college and like these surface level like acquaintances, stuff like that. But like in 2020, it was really like brought forth, okay, who's like my real friends, who are the real people around me that actually value my time and actually value my insight as a person with a with a good genuine care and interest for each other. And Jose and I are good friends, and we've gotten closer since we graduated. And when we decided to start this and get a group of guys together and like do this, it was like really awesome. And same thing with you, is like we literally started something from nothing in such a shitty time. So like, dude, kudos to you, because like you said, a lot of people have done nothing in this quarantine.
Yeah, and like going back to your like keeping relationships, like I felt like 2020 was such the year to do that. And like to your point, like 2019 post grad, like it was surface level, and like that's not bad. Like I have a lot of great friends from Providence. I have a lot of great acquaintances. I was the kid freshman year that followed everyone on Instagram off of that Facebook post, and everyone knew me for that. And like
I heard that.
Like I was that kid, and like, dude, like that did make me have a lot of surface level friendships at Providence. But then I had to realize here in this past year, it was like, who are my like real core, like we'll say 5 friends. And that's like, if you have 5 best friends, that's a hell of a friendship. And like now I'll call those individuals, once a week, once a month, whatever it may be, whoever has the time, and just be like checking in. Like whether it's a 15-minute conversation, whether it's an hour and 15-minute conversation, it's just having those real connections and keeping those. And then like when 2021, finally like kicks off and we all got that vaccine, baby, like, yeah, let's go back to those surface level relationships and have a couple drinks with people we haven't had drinks with in a while. But keeping that core 5, 3, 4, whatever friends is very important.
On that topic of just like, vaccines, Jose and I were talking about it. Like we're estimating right now, it's gonna be a real hot summer in 2021. What do you think?
4th of July. Oh, go ahead, Jose.
Usually I let you jump in right now, but I just gotta say this right now, man. It's gonna be a fucking hot boy summer. I don't care what anyone fucking says, bro. I want all the ladies. I'm glad y'all had a hot girl summer. Shout out Meg Thee Stallion. You know what I mean? I'm glad y'all enjoyed that. But it's time for y'all to take a back seat, because it's about to be a hot boy summer. June 1st, we coming back outside.
I will pay top dollar for June 1st, but my theory is this: 4th of July
movie.
Movie. Done. Next sentence. Next question.
Movie.
Like, dude,
Pool party at Jose's apartment on top of the Hub 50, July 4th.
Yeah, I'm moving. Yo, let me say it out loud.
Wait, was it a little too early to announce that?
I'm moving. Yo, come on.
The new Real Relay headquarters.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be crazy, man. Yeah, my aunt's been vaccinated. I got a good couple of friends of mine who have already the second dose.
Mm-hmm.
I think Amazon just sent out a notice that said they're gonna help vaccinate 100 million Americans by the first 100 days of Biden's time
presidency. Yeah.
So
dude.
that's crazy, bro. Like that, I'm telling you, bro. May 1st, June of summer. My educated guess is that the summer is gonna be a preliminary, like a pre-normal, and I think by September 1st we'll be back in the office.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right, and I cannot wait. There's like I was talking to Eve today. I was like, we were walking in the Peru today, And I was just like, I'm so over masks. And like masks are important, wear your mask. But like I had an almond milk latte, and like we were walking. I was like, I'm such a white girl right now. Holy crap! But I was walking in the Peru, and I was like, all I smell right now is my stupid almond milk latte, and I can't deal with it because of the mask, man. Like, dude, whether it's your N95, cloth mask, medical mask, every mask, they all do the same thing. All you smell is whatever you ate throughout the day, and it's gross.
Yeah, dude. And I'm fat. How do you think I feel about that? Like, I gotta smell my fucking breath all day.
Oh my god.
I just say fuck it. I just don't even go outside. I'm not dealing with that shit. I'll be back outside in a few months, guys. Peace. You know what I mean?
I love it.
I got the new Xbox. I'm like, I'm chilling. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
man.
I don't need to go outside for a minute, man. But that's. I mean, it's very true. Get ready for that. That's gonna be crazy. So, what's kind of like your process like though? So, trying to get it back to the podcast.
Yeah. We're off
okay.
topic.
Hey, don't. That's our job. But so, like, getting kind of back into it. You know, you kind of give us a little background as to how you kind of got here, the name and everything. That's so dope. How did you come up? How did you like? What's your process like? Do you record on a weekly basis? Do you have a team? Like,
Yeah.
What's going on with you? What's the background on that?
Yeah, well, team of one, so team of just me. I do all the research, all the interviewing. Obviously, I'm the host of the show, but and then all the editing and like all the Instagram, everything, and like it's fun because you get 100% control of what you're doing, but it's a lot. My process, it's pretty simple. Just like SDR life, cold DMs, spraying them out. If I can go on someone's Instagram and figure out what they do in the first 30 seconds, I want them on the show. Whether they have 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 500,000 followers, I want them on the show. Whether it's like TikTok content creator, executive chef at Dirty Water,
man. You're like, I don't give a fuck if you play with Legos, man.
Dude, you know why? Because we can have a sick ass conversation about Legos. I can talk to you an hour. I can talk to you for an hour about Legos if I had to. I could ask questions. Don't get me wrong. And like you can probably go on forever. Like that's my favorite thing is when people are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for the long-winded answer." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? That's the best." Because then I can wait to ask the next question, or like this will be a great hour and 10-minute podcast versus like a 40-minute podcast, what have you. So that's my process. I DM guests, get them on. Like sometimes they'll be like, "Great, let's do tomorrow," and I'm like, "Fine, great, works for me." Then I'm up all night researching what I can ask this person, and unlike you guys, I don't send a nice ass packet. I should start doing that.
Don't tell people. I have to stop it. I'm like, don't tell people that we do that. But no, I'm just kidding.
We'll edit that out.
No, Adrian, keep it in. So, but like, yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, I feel that. But I could see my bad. I didn't mean to jump in.
No, yeah, and so from there, it's like, hop on the Zoom, hit record, ask the questions, and get the interview in, and then so kind of backtrack a little bit. So I've been doing interviews since June of 2020, and I had a specific date to say I'm going to launch on August 5th, and by August 5th I had done about 10 interviews, so I had enough backlog to spend the rest. Once episodes were pumping out, I could just spend time DMing and interviewing, and then editing every single week the upcoming episode. And so right now we're doing this on January 24th. I'm good till March 10th. I'm pretty sure. So like just having that backfill and then just constantly going. And then like the thing is like I do have some interviews that I've done from the summer that haven't aired yet. And I'm like, I feel bad because like these guests are like, they're probably not, but I'm in the back of my head. I'm like, they're probably thinking like, where's my episode? In the back of their head, they're probably thinking, I did that podcast. I never heard from it. But, but yeah. So like sometimes with like singers and songwriters specifically, they want episodes to come out right away because we'll be promoting their recent release or their recent album. Because if you wait too long, this is what I learned in the music industry. If you wait too long, they won't promote old albums because they're already on the next record cycle of whether it's Drake advertising his new album, like he's not going to talk about views, So it's like he's gonna want to talk about what he's coming up with. So
Yeah,
I have not interviewed Drake, but
yeah.
maybe in 2022, maybe.
That'd be sick. That'd be
Yep.
sick. But that's the thing. That's why I like when we talked about it, off screen. Like we talked about, Real Relate kind of was like something that you were like, yo, how the guy just came out of nowhere is what you
You
sound like.
did.
You
You
know what I mean? You know
did.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for us, it wasn't though. For us, it was like we had been doing this since like September. You
Right.
know what I mean? September 27th was when I first sent out a text and I was like, yo, we gotta do something, you know what I mean? And then the 29th, we had the Instagram, November 13th, the Xbox drop, we did the unboxing, we've been doing all because I'm that's how I am, I prepare for shit in the background, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And then I strike, you know what I mean? So like
Right.
that's kind of how I do it. So it seemed like it kind of came out of nowhere and everyone was like, well, what the fuck? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how my process is. And we drop every week, so everything you hear is like fresh off the bat. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like boom, week. Because I'm used to that. Because we cover music and tech as well too, and like everyday lifestyle stuff like right here. But
Mm,
that's the thing in the music world, in the tech world, man. Shit is like boom. It's in,
exactly.
it's out, it's in, it's out. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why we do these weekly ones, and we're fresh off the bat like that. But I love to hear like different approaches and different styles of how people do it. I think that's so fucking sick.
Yeah, it is a fun little like, yeah, like I wish I had the bandwidth to like, like my next interview is my next guest, my next interview, so it's a little bit more topical. But then I also just talk about the last episode that I did with Andy Haynes. Like we were talking about stand-up comedy in the summer in New York City because we were recording it in August. And it was kind of like a fun little blast from the past for the listeners to be like, oh yeah, remember how like in 2020 of the summer in New York City they used to do stand-up comedy outside, and now like New York right now it's like, well, it is what it is, and we can get into that if you want. But like in the same breath, I did, like that week that I released that episode, I did an interview with Jake Marsh of Pardon My Take and Barstool, and we were talking about the Barstool Fund, and it's like I'm gonna drop that in March so people remember, like, hey, remember that awesome thing that Barstool did, the Barstool Fund and all that. So it's like it's kind of fun to have like a little like time capsule memories. I don't know.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
As I said, different strokes for different folks. Like everyone does. Like I love the way looking at how because there's not one right to do something. So
Right.
anyone listening or anyone like whoever it is, like there's not one right way to do it. It's all dependent on your play style, how you do things, your team, your efforts and stuff like that. You might be completely solo like you, which is sick, or you might be on a team like Real Relate. You know what I mean? So everyone is different. You know what I mean? You might be a team of 2 or 3 people.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
just do it the way you want to do. It's personalized experience. You know what I mean? And there's no right or
Exactly.
wrong way to do it. So that's pretty good. So I guess next question, another question I have for you is this is, and granted, like this is some of the stuff just come out the dome. I know we gave you some questions stuff like that, but
Oh
like
dude, I love
I be
the impromptu.
I
Let's
be
do it.
doing well. That's just my life is impromptu. like, I was talking. It was so hilarious. But what are some of like your creative like inspirations, like people that motivate you, whether it's an artist, whether it's anyone, it could be a family
Mhm.
member, just who are like, let's say like 5 people, whoever that inspires you to really do what you do today,
Yeah, wow.
he's
Hard
like
to
he's like fuck, I wasn't
He's
ready
like,
for that.
wow, I did not prep this one.
By the
No.
way, Jared, sick cup, bro.
Oh, thank you. Just got it today. Or 2 days ago. No, yeah, 2 days ago. My guy hooked me up. I actually, I only go to the same barber now because I lived out in Woburn, Mass. I'm trying to avoid Jose's question, so we'll talk about my haircut.
Don't worry, I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back. Fuck you. I'll bring you
No,
right back.
so yeah, so real quick story about the haircut. Because this is video too, so you'll see it.
Plug
I
him, plug
always
him.
go
Who's the barber? Who's the barber?
Anthony over at the Woburn Floyd's. Now, don't chirp the chain barber yet, okay? I know there's some chain barbers that you shouldn't go to, but he the thing with my hair is I have insane cowlicks, like the worst.
I remember.
So yes, he's cut my hair before. Yes, Brandon has cut my hair and he's done an incredible job because he learned to do it. If I keep going to new people, that's when my hair gets whacked. And so I was in a pinch and couldn't get to Anthony. So I went to this barber at Assembly Row. I will not say his name because he will kill me. Literally. The most Boston barber I've ever encountered in my life. Like, for sure, gets off the tee, from East Boston, gets into assembly and cuts people's hair. Dude, the stories that man was telling me, I was like, just get me out of here alive, please. He served like 10 years for possession. His brother tried to make a move on his wife while he was in prison. And I was like, he's telling me all this. And I'm like, you're at my head with scissors, dude. Just like cut the hair. And so when I went to Anthony and told him that story, he's like, yeah, dude, just stick with me. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm sticking with you. But okay, so back to your question about my 5 most influential people that kind of like inspire me to do what I'm doing. Like low key, the first is Jake Bamford, because I just want to prove that kid wrong. I love Jake, don't get me wrong. He was a great roommate my junior year. But I want to when he was like, what's so special about your podcast? I want to make him know that my podcast is special. I absolutely adore. I don't even know if you guys know who she is, but Christine Snaps. That's
the girl who was on your. Yep.
Yeah. So she was a viral TikToker from the greater Chicago area. She blew up from this one video. Now she has like 4 million followers on TikTok, 500,000 on Instagram, and she also has a lazy eye. And like I tried to reach out to her to become a guest on my show. I was like, no way she's gonna answer. But like it's a shot in the dark. We have become such good friends from this podcast, and like from our connections of our lazy eye and whatnot. Like, and I just absolutely love what she does, and she doesn't take. Like she doesn't care what people say about her. And I think that's so important too, is like stay in your lane and just do you, keep the blinders on. So that was a big inspiration. Go ahead.
Quick question. So can you explain exactly what is a lazy eye?
I can do my absolute best. Yes.
No, hey, wait, hold on.
Oh, I gotta finish.
Dumb this down, because
yeah.
I'm dumb. Just dumb it down.
No. Oh, I'm gonna dumb it down so bad for you.
You're talking to Dumb and Dumber over here.
No. This is not a doctor's podcast. So I will throw 2 medical terms at you. Maybe even one. I don't even know if I'm gonna remember the second. The first is called strabismus. So strabismus. So that's my lazy eye. A strabismus amblyopia. That's the technical term of a lazy eye. And that's the funniest thing to me, because a strabismus amblyopia sounds so much cooler than, dude, you have a lazy eye. Like, who's the guy that thought of like, oh, his eye's lazy, we'll call it that. So a lazy eye.
That's kind of fucked, honestly.
Yeah, how did we get stuck with lazy eye? Anyways, if we didn't get stuck with lazy eye, I probably wouldn't have a podcast. So back to how it happened. Think of your guys' eye muscles, like what connects your pupil to your brain. We'll just say that as a tight rubber band. So you have complete control of where it goes, how it goes, and what it does, right? Mine is like a shoelace. So I don't really have control or a strong enough muscle for my eye to focus. And so over the years, it gets weaker and weaker, and that's what causes it to be out here like this. And so because I've had it for so long, this eye this eye is my strong eye, but it's lazy right now. This eye is my actual lazy eye, but you can see it's switched because this eye has done so much work. He became lazy. So now both eyes can switch, and it's very confusing. So that's as much as I know about a lazy eye. And 3% of children are born with a lazy eye. So I know it looks like there's like 1 in a million of us, but there's actually a lot of people that have lazy eyes. It's just a matter of who's gotten it fixed and who's done enough eye therapy to keep it strong enough, whatnot.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, can y'all just tighten that string up?
So you can get surgery. Yes, it is called strabismus surgery. And I was supposed to get it after my junior year of college. And I've told this story on my podcast, but I'll tell it here. I went in spring break of junior year to get basically like pre-qualified for this surgery, because it's like cosmetic kind of sort of. They have to like make sure your eye is lazy enough, I guess, to have this surgery for insurance to cover it.
Yeah.
No medical terms here. Just I'm just gonna call it.
Imagine they told you, nah, it ain't lazy.
Yeah, you're not lazy enough. Sorry.
Yeah, doctor comes in like, not next.
You're like, yo, I bet, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like a 4-hour process. Like every fellow at that practice came in and did tests and all that. I had to dress nice. I don't know. It was a weird dynamic. And then finally, the doctor comes in who's supposed to be performing the surgery. He was a top-notch doctor. I will not release his name because of what I'm about to tell you, but like he's done like a million of these and he's super good at what he does, blah blah blah. Comes in in a suit and tie. The tie is Mickey Mouse, his socks are Mickey Mouse, and I was like, this is weird. Like, I know it was a children's doctor, but still kind of weird. And he's like, yeah, you're good. Like, make a long story short, he's like, yeah, we'll do the surgery when you come back for the summer. So I come back, I land in LA, I get in the car, we're driving to Orange County, and my surgery was going to be in like 2 days from when I got back. And my dad goes, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're not getting that surgery. And I was like, what? Like, what happened? He goes, we don't know where your doctor is. He's been AWOL for 3 months. And I was like, what? He's like, I've tried calling the doctor's office like over and over and over again, and they don't know where he is. He hasn't come into the practice in 3 months. And they can't tell us because of like HIPAA laws or whatnot. So my theory, because he came back like 4 months to the day that he left, my theory was rehab, but I can't disclose anything that for sure. But yeah, so fair to say I was like not letting this guy touch my eyeballs. So blessing in disguise. I think it was perfect because I still have my lazy eye. It still makes me me. Doesn't hinder anything. I didn't get, I didn't lose anything because I don't lose anything because of my lazy eye. Like, like Eve still dates me. I still have a great job. Like, I didn't lose anything. You guys are still my friends. You guys still like me, I think, so it's like, it is what it is. And like, I'm kind of glad because it makes me so unique. And what I will say about the lazy eye community real quick is they come in like guns blazing, dude. Like, I don't know what it is, but like so many people have reached out to me about their lazy eyes and like have had like, I have confidence issues and like your podcast or the Instagrams or whatnot. It's like, it's so inspiring. And I'm like, whoa, like I had no idea that this is what this would be. Like it's so wild to me, for sure.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Like you found your niche.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. So, is surgery something that you're still considering, or are you now like not even worried about it anymore?
I'm not really worried about it. Like, will it affect my vision when I'm 75, retired in Florida? I don't know. Like, I wish I knew so that then I can maybe get the surgery. But like, I see fine with glasses. I can't even get LASIX because of like the lazy eye. The lasers haven't been able to have the ability to like read quickly enough them like switching or shifting or whatnot. So I can't get LASIK. So I can't even like live without glasses right now, or contacts. But I don't like contacts. So no, I haven't thought about surgery again. I seriously thought it was like I seriously think it was like a blessing in disguise.
That's so funny because you mentioned LASIK. So I used to, I don't think I had astigmatism, but I had one eye that was stronger than the other. So my strong eye would squint more, and then this one, I think it was this one, would like just be open because it didn't have as much power to like see. So I would end up like in pictures like this sometimes.
Yeah.
So like I got LASIK surgery to correct it, so like they both were equal. And I've noticed like it's gotten a little bit better. Like they both like kind of like squint the same now.
Yeah.
But that's different than a lazy eye though, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I am farsighted and I have astigmatism. And yeah, so to your point, like, it's way different. Like the lazy eye, I can see out of my eye. I see perfectly fine. My peripheral vision is probably better than anyone's on the planet. So don't get it twisted. But like, yeah, like,
don't even try and scare me. I know you there.
Dude, no, seriously, like, I can, dude, I got eyes in the back of my head, bro. It's covered. Like my kids are screwed. When I'm older, my kids are screwed. I'm gonna see them from.
Oh my God.
I got eyes everywhere.
I'll be.
normal guy, 100 eyes.
Exactly. So yeah, dude. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, my wedding photos will probably look really whack down the line, and it is what it is.
Hey man, but hey, listen,
I love
man. All that matters is that you love yourself and you spread positivity, man. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, that's awesome that you have like this whole. You find, like Barbara said, you have your niche, you have your vibe, you have your energy, and it makes you who you are, and you're okay with that. That's a great example to set for like young children and people everywhere. You know
exactly,
what I mean?
Bro. Exactly.
I consider myself a young children, but
I'm inspiring Jose. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. Hey, shout out Christine Snaps, and
yes.
Shout out Jake.
Shout out Banff.
Yeah. Shout out Bam.
Yeah,
And then like obviously like my parents.
shout out Jake Bam.
My parents inspire me. Eve inspires me. We'll that's 5. There you go. My mom, my dad, and Eve, because she still puts up with all my crap and we do all the reviews that probably impede into our free time, the time we get to spend together. So there.
That's what I'm saying. Yo,
Shout out Eve.
Most importantly, shout out Eve, man. Because what up with Jerod? I mean, that's fucking nuts, man.
Seriously, she deserves it. She deserves an award.
You know, me and Jerod are kind of bananas people, so it's like, you know, any girl that's with us, it's kind of like, are you sure?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a commitment.
It's like a second job, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Like when I go to work, and God, I please, you know, Ashley definitely ain't listening, but when I go into work and everything, it's tough because not only do you have to watch me, you know, fuck up on the everyday work that I do, but you also have to be there for me emotionally. And I don't think people know that when they sign up, you know, to be my manager. You know, they're like, Jose's gonna do these things, but you also have to be there for when he breaks up with his girlfriend. And it's like, what? Like what? and there's no bonus. There's nothing.
Nope. Exactly.
You know, I come in every day, every Friday. They go, oh my God, like have a great weekend. And you're like, you know, it's about a movie this weekend. And then Monday we come in. They go, oh, how was the movie? And then I have plenty of stories to tell them throughout the entire week. You know what I mean? And now my boss either loves me or hates me or a little bit of both, and that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? So have that relationship with your manager, guys, or whoever you are out there. Get after.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, for sure. Whatchamacallit? So I guess another question I want to ask you is, what's sort of like the best interview you've done? Or I don't know if you don't want to be biased or anything like that. What's the best interview you've done or best highlight, or who's someone that you would eventually like want to interview?
So I'll answer that in 2 parts. So I do have a dream guest, and then I'll say some highlights of some best interviews, because I don't think I have like I don't want to count anyone out, right? I'm not that type of person. I will say Christine Snaps, the first interview we did, by far was one of my favorites. She's incredible. We've talked about her. Ethan Frame, he's the head of brand at Cuts Clothing. I'm actually sporting the hoodie right now.
I've seen them on Instagram.
Yeah. Such a cool dude. An all around great guy, great interview, great energy. Some surprises that I was like, whoa, this was a cool experience. Was Kinsey Grant, my first episode. She's the host of the Business Casual podcast with Morning Brew. That woman is such a badass. She's so smart, and she could put up with anybody. She's had incredibly powerful guests on her show in business, and she is so calm, cool, and collected throughout. She's awesome. She was great to have on the show. And I'll plug one more, even though they're all great. They're all great. I will say, I'd say D. Murphy. He's the co-founder of the 5-4 group that falls under like Melrose Place, Young and Reckless, Menlo Club. The guy is like my episode with him, I called it the mastermind on Melrose Ave. Like, he's so LA smart. He's so everyone in LA knows who he is, and like the guy knows how to work. And so that was a really cool conversation with him, because being an LA kid, like, it was fun to go back to my roots. I'm not an LA kid. Everyone that's listening to this that knows I'm from Orange County, they'll be like, he's not LA. But being a SoCal kid and listening to that was really cool. So, and then my dream guest, I had it and I lost it, but I don't know. Like, obviously you want to do like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, but I don't even know if I would have like a fun type of conversation with those. Like, I feel like it'd be so hard to like crack a joke, you know, because you want to be so intense and so serious with those guys. I don't know. This sounds so stupid, and I'm gonna get so much.
This is a judge-free zone right
here. Until it gets to the comment section on YouTube, but I really want to interview like the Sway House or like Charlie D'Amelio, because like there's got to be something there, and like I just want to, like, their business model is so foolproof, and like props to them, man. Making it at that age and doing that, like, and it has its ups and downs. And I've talked about her a lot on my podcast because I have so much respect for that. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate because I know people are gonna be like, what does she do? She's not like whatever. I'm in the complete opposite boat. I think those TikTok creators deserve a lot more credit than they're getting, and I think it's impressive.
Hey man, that's who you again. You're not afraid. You're not afraid to take heat from people. You say what's on your mind, and that's a great example. You know, like, who gives a fuck if you want to interview? If you want to interview Kanye West, you know what I mean. Like you go and
Oh,
do what
dude,
you
I
want.
don't,
You
dude,
know?
oh man, that would be one of the hardest interviews. I,
I would, I
I,
would, I would lose, but I would laugh.
Yeah.
I just laughed the whole time.
because you have to like realize, and I don't mean to cut you off, Brandon, but like you want to be able to have interviews that you're gonna like flow with. Like there were a couple. I've had a couple instances, and I won't say names, but like I felt pressured. I felt like way smaller than the guest, which you are like. But the point of the interview is to try and feel like you're not. You know, you're trying to have a conversation, and like sometimes they give me time constraints, and I just feel like so pressured, and so like you have to get in there so quick because it's so hard to have a conversation. And so yeah, like it happens. And like to use Kanye West as an example, I don't even know where I'd go with that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like I've always said, and if there's anything you take from this podcast, is setting the ground rules day zero. Like here at Real Relate, man, listen, you know, about a week before, you know, we sent out, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. You know what I mean? And we set the ground rule off the bat. We're chill people. We're gonna vibe, have a good time with anybody. We could talk. We could talk to a teacher. We could talk to a nurse. It don't matter who it is. You know what I mean? But like,
Exactly.
it's all about setting the standard and just setting it up and being like, yo, this is it. Have a good time and this vibe. That's all it is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you're gonna if you're gonna put a time constraint on me, you can suck my dick. But like, I don't like,
Dude,
but
it's
overall,
so hard. It's so hard because like the non-time constraint is so nice because you're like, if we're vibing like this, I don't. It doesn't matter if this goes an hour and a half, whatever.
yeah.
Like there was an interview I had that went an hour and 48 minutes, and
Wow.
like personally, I had to cut it down because I was like, no one's gonna want to listen to this for that long.
Mhm.
Just that was like my own self-conscious, but like it was such a good conversation because you're just having a conversation. You know what I mean? Like when there's no set schedule, it's so much easier. So much
I
easier.
mean, you'd be surprised, though. I was thinking, I talked to Jose about this last night. Actually, it's like, so ideally we want to keep anywhere from like 30 minutes to like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
whatever falls in between in there. But you'll have people who, like, for example, like we're working from home, right? We'll put something on in the background on a YouTube tab to listen to for like an hour sprint of work, because our minds only can focus on one thing for anywhere from like 45 minutes to an hour and 15. So like
Yes.
if we put on like an hour long podcast, we'll listen to that for the hour in the background. We'll take a 5-minute break, a 10-minute break, come back, listen to another episode. So what Jose and I were talking about last night is like, okay, let's say, we have a podcast that ends up being like an hour and 15. We'll cut it down to do like the main highlight points and like a 15-minute video that we'll put on our YouTube channel. And then we'll put the full version on our website to kind of like
Yeah.
funnel people through. And it's like, hey, if you want to get the full version, check out our website. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
dude, exactly. And like the Joe Rogan experience can be anywhere from like 30 minutes to like 6 hours.
Yeah.
So people will take the whole week to digest it. And then uh like the big booty mix is an hour long. And people put that on in the background or run to it or whatever. So like
Well,
long
that's a little different. That's
but
because
yeah, I agree.
kids are hammered and they just don't want to play the next song. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree. But I think what I was trying to get there was like long form content is not dead at all. If anything, because like a lot of people thought, well, we're losing this commute, we're losing podcasts, we're losing, whatever, hour long YouTube videos and whatnot. I don't think so. I think people are still like I put on the same playlist all the time to work from home. So like I think people are consuming content still, and long form content is 100% still around.
Oh, dude, 100%, man. Don't fucking listen to anybody. You know what I mean? Just
Exactly.
do what you want, dude. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. I know people that I know. I have a friend of mine who literally listens to every piece of content we put out, the whole thing.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why? Like, why the fuck would you do that? You know what I mean?
But dude, that's the thing. That's so good to have those type of people because they'll always be the ones that like promote your stuff and promote your brand. My dad still doesn't know how to listen to a podcast, dude.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Hey,
So
shout out Tyler for that. But
I love
but
it.
like that's how it is, man. I mean, it's honestly there. It's not dead. Don't stress it. Do what you want to do and have a good time doing it. And there'll be people that listen to it, people that don't. You know what I mean? You'll get the analytics. You'll see what's going on, and you can then alter to and adapt to your the way it needs to be. You know what I mean?
100%.
You get all the analytics on that. So kind of speaking about that, you're up on Spotify, Apple Music, or what's going on? So how does it feel to kind of give us some people a little bit behind the scenes? How does it feel to put a podcast on Spotify and Apple Music? Is it hard? Is it tough? You got to pay for it? Like, what's up with that?
So I'll plug my little provider here, even though they stopped my sponsorship with them. It's fine. Anchor is the easiest way to put your podcast on any sort of platform. So Anchor is owned by Spotify. They will actually distribute your podcast to Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and then even like the I don't even know even the littler ones, but I forget what they're called. But yeah, it's nerve-wracking to have your content on two major platforms that anyone can find. So let's say tomorrow I'm not doing the podcast anymore. That's not gonna happen. But my podcast will forever be on Spotify and sound and Apple Music or Apple Podcasts. So it's kind of nerve-wracking to be like, wow, my name is out there and my content's out there. But the coolest thing about that is anyone can listen to it. And that's what has been blowing my mind from this podcast is I've been streamed in all 50 states and now 28 countries. That baffles me that people have found this podcast in other countries, but B, sit and listen to it. That's the thing, dude. So the global reach for Apple Podcasts, for Spotify is so cool. And Anchor has those fancy dashboards that show you all that. And waking up and seeing those kind of stats is actually, it's really cool stuff.
Jose, we gotta look into Anchor ASAP so we can get on Apple and Spotify and Google.
I will hook you guys up. I will tell you exactly how it works, and it is the easiest way to get started for sure.
Word, yeah. We'll follow up offline about that, but because we're not on those platforms yet, right, Jose?
I'll have my people talk to your people.
My people are always open.
My people is Jerod, and Jerod's I'm the only guy on this fucking team. So
my people are always open.
No, for sure. No, we'll talk offline. I'll get Barbara on that. He can set the initiative. You guys can talk and text about it, and we'll get
100%.
Because here at Grow Relay, we all have fucking different jobs and things that we do. So I'll have Barbara pioneer that, and Barbara, whatever support you need for that, we got you.
There you go, baby.
There you go. That'd be sick. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So that's good. A lot of people want to know the back end about it. Do you have to pay for it? Is it free?
It's free, 100% free.
That's great, and that's what people want to know. How's the back end about it? How is it and stuff like that. So, what are some things you wish you kind of knew beforehand before you started podcasting?
Oh my God, I wish I knew how much work it is. I
wouldn't have started.
No, I give Barstool, I give Armchair Experts, I give the bigger name podcasts so much credit because I'm how am I doing this? But I also, and this goes back to do what's best for you. I think I tried doing this about a year and a half ago. I tried to do this whole creating my own brand and doing the whether it was blogs and podcasts and videos and stuff. And I had a team. I thought I had a team. That was what was important.
There's some drama.
No drama.
Drama alert.
No drama alert. But
let's get right.
Talk your shit, King. Tell them.
It's just I had the idea and I thought people were gonna get into it, and that wasn't the case. That's fine. But now with Normal Guy Lazy Eye, I have 100% say, 100% share of voice on who the guests are gonna be, who's going to be the next episode, what the next episode is going to be about, and no one else can tell me that, and that's fine. But if you have a team that's 100% into it, that's also fine. But that's what when I first started this about a year and a half ago with a brand that we shall keep nameless, I'm just glad now I know what I'm doing, and now it's okay to be by myself right now. Maybe in a couple of weeks I might come back and be yo, I need a team, bro. This is hard. But that I wish I knew how hard it is, because it is not easy to put out an episode every single week, dude. I was on up on Christmas Eve editing an episode so that it come out, dude. I haven't taken a break yet, and I don't plan on taking a break. I think that was the biggest piece of advice that I got is make sure if you're gonna pump out content, do it constantly. Don't stop. And like if you lose followers on the way, it's just because they were sick of you seeing you in the feed. There's gonna be fans that will stick with you throughout this, whether it's podcasts that you put out, the Instagram videos you put out, what have you. Just do it constantly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like honestly, I remember, and shout out Eve for being with you throughout this whole entire thing. But
Shout out Eve.
shout out Eve. But the thing is about this is like I remember growing up and like looking at YouTubers, and I remember eating cereal or eating food and having my phone propped up, and like I was like really, I'm big into the YouTube community and stuff like that, watching people talk and stuff like that. But I feel like personally, like I never really subscribed. I never liked, I never commented, but I was always there. I was always a dedicated viewer in the background. And over time, as I started to see their content, and I've seen some YouTubers grow from like so small to like, bro, they live in like in LA in a mansion right now. Like that's crazy.
Yes.
Through all the ups and downs, through everything, through all the drama, through all the shit they got dragged through every single thing, dude, they were there for it. And that's like and they made it. And the one thing that I learned from that was just perseverance. Like don't give a fuck about how many followers you got. Don't give a fuck about how many likes. Don't give a fuck about how many views. Those are important for analytical reasons, and you want to keep track of that for that purpose. But for the most part, dude, just push through it, man. Because some of the biggest people I've seen, bro, like started off with nothing. Look at Mr.
Yeah.
B too. Like some of these people, I watched like Review Tech USA, like some of these IGN, like some of these small people that like eventually had built a team and started off and got really big. Like they just persevered through everything and they never let the hate get to them. And it's well, some of them do, but for the most
100%.
part, how you deal with that. I mean, that's the thing where we're related to me. It's like I love it. I love the hate. I love it. You know what I mean? I love the good, the bad.
I live for. I live for Normal Guy Lazy Guy. Like, I mean, I don't care if I get if the episode gets 80 views, 8 views, 800 views in a week. I'm like, I put it out, I liked it, and I want people to like it. And if people don't like it, I knew I liked it, and I knew it's good. Like to me, it's good. So that's all that matters. And like to go back a little bit on like a dream guess, David Dobrik, because that guy literally started from nothing to cream of the crop YouTube. I mean, that guy is like untouchable right now for sure. But yeah, like that, like I think, and it's going back to the analytics things. Like it'll be so cool to see when you blow up. Back when you started, you were getting those, 200 views in a video or 200 views a podcast, and like be like, yeah, dude, every story has a beginning, so we got to start somewhere. That's what I always say on my show.
Wise words from my good friend Ryan. He was like, someone had told me the same thing. Like, I think I told you this already. Like, what makes you different than everybody else? What makes you different? Like, there's millions of people before you that have come and tried and failed, and it was like, all right, name one.
Yeah,
and
you can't name one.
You can't because they didn't make it. And
Exactly.
he's like, okay, now name one that did. And they're like, all right, yeah, I want to know why? Because they actually did it. They tried. They give a shit. Whether we fail or not, I mean, the fact that we did it means more than anything. You know what I mean? Exactly. That means that we tried it. We got after it. I'd rather try and fail than never try and never fail and never know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It takes a certain person to have that certain mentality and stuff like that, because failure is tough to deal with as well too. And like, it's very scary with rejection. I'm pretty sure you reach out to people and they don't respond or they leave you on red or something like that. And that really, fucks with you, your mental, you know what I mean? So Jared, it's tough.
Question for you, Jared. Like,
yeah,
where do you see like you taking a Normal Guy Lazy Eye in like the next like 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? Like, where do you see yourself with it?
Yeah, dude, that I actually got asked that question a while back, and I'm still trying to figure that out. I do want to be kind of on some charts. Analytically speaking, like I want to be on like top 100 comedy interview podcasts or something like that.
Okay.
And then I want to land like A-list, like a big A-list celebrity. My biggest is Christine Snaps, and I never thought I was gonna land her, and now we're like best friends. She did like cameo videos for like even her family, like we're tight. But like I want like a David Dobrik, like a Charlie D'Amelio, like a Tom Brady even, or like a, you know what I mean? Like that would be massive. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. And then I want to be big enough so that I can start getting some merch out. That's the thing. I love YouTubers merch and stuff like that. So like a little pocket tee with a little normal guy lazy eye logo right there. I think
There
that'd
you
be
go.
pretty sick.
That'd be pretty
You're
sick.
gonna
Yeah.
have to hook us up with some merch when you come out with some stuff.
There we go, man. There we go. I think we should do some merch for merch here.
Yeah.
I was about to say, cause Bar, you paying for it, motherfucker. Like,
Hey, I told you I'm expensifying everything on the River Lake credit card.
that just it goes on my credit card.
I love it. I love it.
Overall, yeah, we drop a merch. River Lake merch is coming out pretty soon as well too. We got Austin working on that, so we're super pumped. That's the thing is about a team too. Everyone has like the role and everything, but that's great to hear, man. I love hearing that type of energy, and I love hearing that type of vibe from you as well too. I mean, for us, man, honestly, this is just I just want to meet someone new. I just want to meet friends. I just want to make friends. I don't give a fuck if we're top 10, top 5.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care if we make it big or not. Like, this is just about like meeting people, making friends, and like making connections. That's what I do well. So that's what I'm here for. You know what I mean? I'm just here to, I'd love to like meet someone over a podcast and then like go visit them and like have drinks with them and like have a good time with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. And I always tell people is like, you hear some great stuff on my podcast, but I got to tell you, like when we stop hitting record and like if the guests and I were like vibing and we were doing great, but when we stop hitting record and we talk for 30 minutes after, that's the best part. Because like you really actually feel like you made a connection with someone, you made a friend, you made someone to grow your network with. So that, like, to your exact point, I've had the same exact kind of mindset. It's like, sure, the analytics are what they are, but if anything, I have this crazy awesome network now of individuals I'm not trying to repeat myself, but like that I never thought I would have conversations with before in the past. So like that's the coolest thing from all this.
That's true, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, go out there and like people are like, Jose, you're stuck inside. All you do is play Xbox. Like, do something. It's like, well, I am. I'm just doing it in a different way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm doing it in a safe way. You know what I mean?
Socially distant way. Exactly.
Socially distant way. You know what I mean? And this doesn't mean the minute we're allowed to go outside that I'm gonna drop all this and go to the bars and clubs. I'll be doing both. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know,
that work-life balance.
You get the work-life balance. You look at big podcasts like, you know, the Barstool Call Her Daddy and stuff like that as well too. The Sophia Franklin like podcast. You see some of these big ones too, and like you can do both. You know what I mean? You can have a good time and get after it. You know what I mean? So that's pretty huge as well too.
She would be an all-time guest. Holy crap!
We were talking about where do you see yourself like a year from now? And I know I was specifically talking about like real relay and just like making friends and shit like that as well too. At the end of the day, I'm here just to make friends, meet new people, and it's really those connections that I love more than anything else. You know what I mean? I get closer with Barber, get closer with you, because people forget, dude. I was kind of hated in college a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, but like it was tough living next to me senior year, you know what I mean? Like me, like Jerod, like and freshman year as well too. Like I was a loud motherfucker, you know what I mean? So it's bananas, you know. But I appreciate you, you know, being there for me as well too, and always, you know, being there to communicate as well too. But
of course.
But now that we're here doing our thing, it's absolutely bananas. So I like to ask this question a lot. This is kind of like I guess like a Friars Club type of question.
Okay.
But,
I got plenty of those actually in my time at Providence. Don't worry.
So if you were gonna put on a concert, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And you're gonna put on he's probably like yes. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. I'm ready for this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you were gonna put on a concert, who would your starting lineup be? I know you could pick 3, whether bands, rappers, artists, anything like that, dead or alive. Who would your 3 people be?
This is going to be the worst answer you will ever get on this show because it's just not your. I wouldn't say it's your vibe. Now, the people listening that vibe with this type of music will be like, heck yeah. But, and I've gotten this question before in a club interview, and it wasn't Friars Club. It was your counterparts over at BOP. Yeah. So, with that being said,
they stole that from us.
With that being said, my starting lineup and location is going to be off of the great concert that I saw in the summer of 2017, where Khalid put on a free concert at the Santa Monica Pier. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that location. I'm going to take the Santa Monica Pier. I'm going to have Jack Johnson, John Mayer, and Khalid can come back. And so those are my 3 headliners. Just a nice summer vibing, 3-day weekend Coachella-esque, just in the Santa Monica Pier.
That's crazy. You said Khalid, right? So my cousin Fabian, Khalid, he was in the same frat as Khalid,
Oh,
and so they have like
sheesh.
a picture and everything. Because Khalid, talk about the same Khalid, like he's from El Paso, Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So my uncle, like my cousin, like knows him, and like they taking pictures together. They've been out same frat parties and everything. So that was crazy to me to find out like that they were doing that. I was like, yo, fuck, that's nuts, dude. Because
Yeah.
Khalid's a phenomenal artist.
So
Obviously the
good.
ones that you mentioned as well too are phenomenal, but that
Yes.
one in particular is like I have a connection.
That's funny. So yeah, just a fun beach vibing
That's
concert.
crazy.
That's my scene.
There you go. I love that. Yeah, I figured. First of all, we accept everyone of all different backgrounds and everything. Like, man, it doesn't have to be Drake, and Drake. You know what I mean? Like,
I
it doesn't
I was
have to
I
be.
was I was gonna be like, oh, he's gonna want Drake, and Drake.
It's gotta be Drake, Josh, and Drake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love
Like,
that.
no, man, like it's everybody. Like first, hip hop comes from so many different like cultures and avenues as well too. Like they get inspired by so many different people. So don't even stress that, man.
And I
But
love hip
I'm
hop
glad.
just as much as the next guy. I don't know, but it's just like something about like those three would be kind of cool. I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about the combination. You want to please everyone. You also want to have everyone have a good time as well too. What's sort of like a biggest fear that you've had starting up? Like, what was your biggest fear you had starting up? Like your number one fear, or just something maybe that you still have like a fear with that dwindles with you today?
Um, I so starting up, my biggest fear was like having a really like a an interview go like haywire. Like where they just like next question, not answering that, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. But then when I was like getting on with it, I was like, you know what? Like that would kind of be kind of sick. Put out an episode where like someone's just not with it, because sometimes those are like the juiciest episodes. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
man.
that was like my biggest fear starting. Now it's like forgetting to get an episode out or not having enough content to get another episode out on a Wednesday. So that's what I'm working with right now, is like making sure that never happens. But yeah, I'd say that's my biggest fear with this right now, is just keeping it constant.
Yeah, that's like the Breakfast Club with like the Migos and everything, or Complex Everyday Struggle with the Migos. Like those aren't like imagine like interview like a high top rapper and everything. Like they just say, okay, oh, what are you up to this day? He's like, nothing.
Yeah,
Like fuck,
chilling,
like
chilling.
you know what I mean? Like so because you can't expect every guest to come on and them to have like this amazing backstory and like crazy communication skills. Like it's not like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like usually those are the guests that will say no, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, like you might strike a chord with someone. Like I was listening to a podcast, and Action Bronson was on a KFC podcast a long time ago, and
Yeah.
like Feidelberg asked a question, and like did not Action Bronson was not about the question. So the rest of like the 30-minute interview, he was like, nah, yeah, nah, okay. Like just not
Uh,
like, but like I don't know, dude. Like something about that, putting that type of content, putting that episode up, like I have beef with Action Bronson or something.
Kind of
I would,
interesting.
you know what I mean? It would be interesting, and like, okay, what caused it? Okay, this part of the interview. Okay, so now he hates Jared. It is what it is. Maybe he won't become a recurring guest, but at least it was fun while it lasted, right?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully that never happens to any
Yes.
guests we have on, Jose.
Knock on wood. Knock on
And
wood.
knock on wood.
yeah. I mean, hopefully not. But
Jared,
go ahead.
yeah. So like in terms of like, your process, you described all that to us and how you started it. For like people like us who are like, only a couple of 3 episodes in now, what advice would you have to like, up and coming content creators and people who are just starting out this like journey of like, okay, I want to start my own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's so crazy to me that like I'd consider myself a content creator now, but yeah, I mean, I guess I am, right? Like, but two pieces of advice I have is don't stop. Like like what I mean by that is something is better than nothing, and I mean, like good is better than nothing, because if you're someone will like it, like going back to what I said earlier, like someone will like it, and when you just like, oh, like, I don't know, maybe no episode this week because we didn't do a good job, then like you're putting out nothing for no one to consume. when you can put out something for some people to consume, that's important. And then like never say no. Like people have been like, reach out to this person, reach out to this person, and I have reached out to everybody to come on the show because like whether it's a Lego master or whatever, dude, I don't care because it's gonna be a fun interview. You're gonna have fun doing it, and like that has to be the most important thing is have fun and love what you're doing, because if you're just putting out content to put out content, then yeah, it's gonna kind of be like, ugh. But if you're gonna do it, so I guess those are kind of like counterintuitive, but consistency and having fun doing it.
Word. And never say no. I like
never
that.
say no. Exactly. So 3 pieces of advice.
Love that.
That's true, man. It's all about like you have to put it with a passion. You know what I mean? You can't just push shit out there, and you gotta have some sort of like, yeah, put it out there and have fun, but like also like have some sort of purpose when you do something. You know?
100%.
That's
Yeah.
what Leo said in our last episode. He's like, intention. You have to have an intention going into something.
100%. Because if you don't, right, then you're just stuck with like, all right, I have to do this interview, I have to ask these questions, and they're gonna answer, and then that's it.
Right. Exactly.
And it's like, okay, great. What? My brother called me and said, like, I have some criticism for your podcast, and I was like, all right, shut up, don't talk to me. But I was like, what? I was like, oh, all right, I'll listen. Like, what? He's like, I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, and I was like, okay, I'm not the next Joe Rogan. We've established that here on the show. But like, the reason I go back is not because of the guests he has on the show, but it's because I like Joe Rogan. So what you should do, he's like, I'm not saying I don't like you. I'm like, you better not, but make it so that your guests like you, and so the reason they're coming back isn't necessarily for the guests that you have on the show, but because they kind of want to come and listen to you. Because then what they're doing is coming to listen to you and learn, just like you are learning about your guest. Because like you can watch the Joe Rogan podcast and like I have no idea who he has on the show. Like some of the guests he has, I'm like, who is this person? But or even like I'll even say like, because we keep using him as an example, like Armchair Experts, Dak Shepard's podcast, incredible show, because he has such a great way and such a cool story to himself to interviewing these guests that it makes you come back because of Dak Shepard, not because, oh well, Tom Brady's coming on this week. Oh well, Ali Raisman's coming on this week. So stuff like that. But yeah, that has to be your intention. Have fun with it so that the people coming to listen to your podcast are having fun with you.
That's a great piece of advice.
Yeah, so shout out Aaron for that criticism.
Yeah, just dropping gems on us, man. Thanks.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
Dropping gems, man. I love that. Oh, that's good, man. I feel like I feel real whole. You know what I mean? It really gave us a good time here. Like it was a great experience. You know what I mean? You dropped some gems, dude, for sure. I'm like sitting here like, damn, I'm astounded right now. I'm sitting back like, damn, you got any more gems to drop? Just drop them right there, bro.
Dude, I mean,
you know?
I guess I'll wrap up with this. Like being on this side of the podcast is so different, and I haven't done this yet. So this is actually my first time being a guest on a podcast. And that was one of the first questions I asked my first guest, Kinsey Grant, was what's it like being on this side? And it's certainly a different muscle to flex, but you learn so much, and it is like really a fun time, and having the ability to do this with you guys has been an absolute blast.
Dude, it's been a pleasure, man. Like it feels good to like, kind of revisit like the relationship we had and kind of like see where you're at today,
Absolutely. And, you guys are crushing it. Keep it up, and let's definitely keep this connection going for sure. But keep it up, boys.
For sure. It's been
for sure. We want to come back like a year from now and see what's going on with you.
I love it. Yeah. Let's do it for sure. Pencil me in.
Yeah. Word. I love that.
We'll send you a calendar invite, but it's been a great time, man. It's been real. You've kept it real, and it's been relatable too, man. So that's what it is. We're relate. Till next time. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you guys soon.